I loved it. It was a challenge for sure. Took me a while to figure out, and I loved every minute of it. It was great.
When I first asked Tom if he wanted to feature, I was just going for a simple, I play, then you play, and we do a bit of back and forth. But Tom was super excited about playing simultaneously, playing together. And that idea kind of just terrified me, but he really, really wanted to do it. So we went that route.
So when exactly did you first approach Tom?
That was back in May 2020.
A whole year ago. That's crazy.
It's taken nearly a year to do a 3-minute song.
May 2020 for the first time. We spoke, we hit it off right away, and we bounced some ideas back and forth, all of them bad, mainly my ideas. And then he hung up on me, and I didn't hear anything for months. And then sometime in the fall, he checked in with me again, and he said, are you now ready to listen to some good ideas? Because I have some. And I was like, okay. He sent me a demo. It was a good idea. And I went with it. That was it. What I liked about it right from the get-go was the fact that Chris understood that this is a team effort. This is a real musical conversation. I thought it was really fun and interesting. There was never any kind of hint of a competitive thought when we spoke about it and discussed what we wanted to do. And that's what I really enjoyed. It was a real musical adventure.
So I've seen videos in the past of 2 drummers playing the same part, and I can't help but feel that it's kind of pointless. If one drummer can play it, why have 2? So when I was writing this song, I wanted to make certain that it was 2 unique drum parts, and we needed both parts to come together to make the song happen. It's not a drum battle or like anything competitive. It's a team effort. It's a collaboration. We need both drummers present to make the song happen. One thing that I did find challenging though is making the song sound good with 2 drummers, because that's a whole lot of drums. It's a whole lot of cymbals. And to actually compose a song that can accommodate that, it can host 2 drummers and still actually be a good song to listen to. That was probably one of the hardest challenges I had whilst composing this track.
Now, Chris sent me some MIDI files so I could actually see and analyze and eventually transcribe all the bass drum parts. And I didn't have a chart in the beginning, and I practiced that for about a day or so. And then I told Chris, okay, ready. And then we FaceTimed, and he said, that's totally rubbish, only in a very polite way. He said, oh, maybe, that one group of 7 that you're playing should be a 9. And, that group of 4, maybe double check that maybe a group of 3. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? That was totally half-assed. I should really bring the A game for this. So I sat down and transcribed it. I took the MIDI files and made a chart. I still have it somewhere. Where's my chart? Look what I did. I found the chart. See this? See, that's what I made. That's the surgical section.
There's one section right in the middle of the song, which we've sort of nicknamed the surgical part, purely because it has to be so accurate and precise for it to work. It's these crazy fast groups of 9, which we've divided up between our kick drums. So, sometimes Tom will take 4 and then I take 4 and then he'll take the last one. Or sometimes we just have all 9 each. And it's this crazy back and forth, as well as actually dividing up our hands and our snares and our cymbals. It's insane. It's like 2 jigsaw pieces, but really randomly cut, and they interlock perfectly. And to arrange something like that halfway around the world from each other during a pandemic, remotely, it was really tricky. There was a lot of file sharing. There was a lot of video calls. And again, with the time zones, I was often on the phone at 1, 2 a.m. And yeah, we had to do some wacky stuff to sort of coordinate that. It's kind of remarkable, in my opinion, that we kind of pulled that one off, to be honest.
I do a lot of recording sessions for people, and I've been recording and working, in studios for 35 or more years. And I grew up and started working in the era of analog tape, 2-inch tape, where the musician in the studio had to really perform the song. And you know what? I like that vibe because it captures something other than just the notes you play. It captures sort of an energy because you have to think as a performer, as a musician in the studio, in long ties. You have to pace yourself differently. You have to focus on the music. You tend not to overplay or to experiment too much because, you want to play it pretty safe, but at the same time, you want to make a statement. And that has a very specific energy. You want to execute everything perfectly. Chris is of the same philosophy. And that's why I always like this playing. He doesn't waste time editing. He spends the time practicing and playing the song correctly.
I recorded my parts first, and that was actually a bit of a blessing because we could reference my camera angles and my lighting and my mic placement. But more importantly, we could reference my tuning and my cymbal choice. You know, it was super important that we had close enough tones so that it would gel and it would work. And obviously on a project like this, where there is strictly no sample replacing or any sort of sound enhancement, it had to be right at the start. So that was a really important step. And I'm really glad that I did do mine first and we didn't just try and do it at the same weekend or something.
I knew that Chris was playing a maple kit, so I went for a stainless steel kit, just to have a slightly different character of sound and a kind of a lower kick drum. And because I knew what Chris was playing, because I had seen his his video before and heard his demo before, I decided to go with a drum set that just sounds better than his. You know, that was my goal. So he played his drum set and I played the drum set that sounded better. It was that simple. You know, and I made a compromise with the stack. He said, find a stack that sounds exactly like mine. So I just got one out that sounded like crap. And that sounded pretty much exactly like his. So I went like, there you go.
It's really exciting that I got to work with Tom on this piece because he's had such a huge impact on me as a player. You know, I've been watching his videos and his DVDs since I was just a little kid. I actually had a poster of him next to my bed and I'd kiss it before I went to sleep every night. I'm just kidding. No, he has had a big impact, but I didn't do that. I did meet him at a drum show back when I was just 6 years old, though, 6 or 7 years old. And there was a raffle that day for a DW Collector's Series copper shell snare drum, and I won. It was crazy. I actually won the snare, and it's the snare that I used in that video. And that's why I spent so much time refurbishing it. You know, that snare dates back a long time, means a lot to me. And it's just a crazy full circle, you know, to be now working with Tom with the snare on this piece.
That's the thing. That's the scary thing about Chris. You know, if he's super determined, which is great. It's amazing. And I can identify with that. He'll sit down and just practice the heck out of something until he nails it, which is exactly the right thing to do. He doesn't try to fix it in the mix, you know, and present a fantastic edit of something. No, it's a performance, man. And much respect to you, Chris.
When it came to doing the finishing touches to the song, you know, the track was finished, everything was done. We still had a bit of a blank spot at the start of the video. We wanted to fill it with like a nice introduction for Tom and, you know, just sort of make it more of a piece of art instead of just a song. And the idea developed and got a bit wacky. And we ended up doing this green screen shot where I was shirtless in it. And it sort of wasn't working out. The lighting wasn't, you know, I wasn't popping enough. And we were just chatting, you know, I swear the bodybuilders, they use like baby oil or something on their skin. So we went to look for some baby oil, but we didn't have any baby oil. But we did have olive oil. So one funny thing from the video shoot, and we were quite drunk at this point as well. It was definitely a drunken evening that we filmed this. I was just covered in olive oil. And it wasn't even normal olive oil. It was like the spray stuff that you spray in the pan. I stank like a Greek salad. It was very, very funny, but also not sick at all at the same time.
Just wondering, does the intro have any relevance to the song name Triggered whatsoever?
No, the song name's just a joke. You know, a lot of people think that I trigger my drums even though I don't. And then when I tell them that it's real, they get triggered. So it was just like a funny thing. And especially with a song this crazy, it's definitely going to get quite a reaction. I'm sure plenty of people will be triggered by it. So that's all that's about.
What's to come in the future, man? Will we do stuff together? Yes, we will. Chris and I will do more things together. We already have plans. You know, the possibility to do any live shows again, then, you know, we'll do this and perform this piece and maybe others at drum festivals, in your living room, at your bar mitzvah, backyard party, any kind of fairground event. You know, just book us and we'll play Triggered for you. And we won't make many friends on the dance floor, I presume, but there's 2-3 drum nerds in the audience. They're going to remember this. I think this is a good plan.
Working with Tom on this track has completely brought back every reason and more as to why I play drums and why I'm doing this record. It was a very inspiring process and I feel very fortunate to have worked on it with him. So for that reason, I just want to say a huge thank you to Tom. You're just a super top guy, amazing drummer. And I just hope we get to play it live one day, maybe at NAMM or something. That'd be awesome.
Chris, massive thank you to Chris for inviting me to be part of this. It is an honor, you know, and it means a lot to me that I inspired Chris to, you know, become such an amazing drummer. He's an amazing drummer. It's fresh, it's new, it's exciting what he does. And Chris is just the best dude ever. He is such a great guy. And thank you, Chris, for having me. Thank you. Yeah, let's do this again. Next time you play my parts though, okay? Because for me, it's easy to play your parts because I can play anything. You know, for me, it's no big deal. But next time, you'll play my parts, okay? And then we'll see how long that takes. We'll see if you can pull that off in a year or two. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to pull it off.
And finally, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's supporting the project, whether you're just watching the videos or commenting or whatever. It's really brought this whole thing to life in such a quiet time for us musicians, and it's made a very fun project already. You know, I'm super stoked to do more tracks and to keep doing this. So thank you, everyone. I hope you love the song, and see you at the next one. Peace.